Three families, three completely different money stories. One question connects all of them. Who actually owns the money? Hey, it's your host Ken, and I have my co-host Keon, the Ivy League scholar. I always like to say, what's going on? So here, our mission is mission first, money second, brotherhood always. We're not here to drag these families. We're here to ask the questions. We want to be asked about our own money if the cameras were on us. So no judgment, but we do have some opinions. We do have a perspective. How you doing today, man? How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm excited to be here, man. I'm feeling good, feeling blessed. The weather feels great, man. I feel like that's just a reflection of how we about to do, man. I feel like this about to be real fun and just a lot of gems.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, just as a teaser, just to give you a heads up of some of the things that we're going to cover. So here's some of the headlines of things we're going to cover. So the first headline is legally the money in your kid's savings account isn't yours to spend. Once it's transferred in, it belongs to the child, and a custodian can only use it for the child's benefit. Why it matters? Most parents don't know that. And in case one is what happens when someone finds out the hard way in public. Headline two,
Mm.
preview. A financial coach recently told a couple on their fixed cost hit, guess this, 179% of their income. He
Mm.
called it
Wow.
the highest number he'd ever seen. Why it matters? That's not a budgeting problem. It's a structural one. And case two shows exactly how a family gets their one. We deserve this one decision at a time. Headline three, six-figure households showing up broke, in debt, and drowning, and now a reoccurring theme across every major financial show. Not a fluke story anymore, a pattern. Why it matters? Case three is a version of that pattern that happens inside of marriage, where the debt is only half the problem. Hey, without further ado, we're gonna get into this. We are going to get into this.
Let's jump in. Let's jump in, man. That's exciting. Wow. Not if not for them, but it's gonna be exciting to discuss.
All right, let's do it, man. All right, so for case study number one, he took 10,000 out of his son's savings account. His defense, he won't know.
How old is the son? Well, I guess we're gonna find out. Dang, that's crazy.
All right, so I'll give you the backstory in a minute. We're gonna cue it up so we can hear from Mr. Christian himself. And the reason I picked this one is you could probably already guess.
Wow.
You can already guess.
Hometown stories. No place like home.
There's no place like home. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm 28 years old, and this is Financial Audit.
You're a red one, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't wear sunscreen.
Yeah,
I work outside all day.
How old are you? You're so 28. You're 2 years younger than me. Yeah, dude,
28.
you're gonna f***ing age.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about that? You're gonna age.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I'm in the sun all day.
You
No sunscreen.
said, what's the city you're from?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi, Mississippi. I don't know it.
Oh, man.
Mississippi, not a high-cost living.
Hold on. Hold on, Mr. Caleb. Young fella. I'm feeling some type of way right now. You don't know Biloxi, Mississippi. Hey, come on now.
Nah, but he know Gulfport though. He ain't asking about Gulfport. That's what it is. He knows Gulfport. He just didn't know Biloxi. I might let him slide. That's probably
All
what
right.
it is. That's
Okay,
what
we're
it
gonna let
is.
him make it. All right, continue.
Yeah, that's what it is.
By any means. So I'm very curious to see what kind of income you got. What do you do for a living?
I am a mailman for the post office.
Okay. Freedom. We love it. America. Roo.
It's not too bad.
Sure. What do you make?
About $27 an hour.
Mm-hmm. In Biloxi, how does that stretch? How you feeling?
It's not too bad if I was a little more responsible, but you know, YOLO.
YOLO?
Yeah, I just
That's right.
like to live my life.
We're going back 10 years ago. YOLO. Okay. Wow. Sure. It was big when you were 18.
Yeah.
You know, really holding on to those high school days where you peaked, right?
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Probably extra. I don't know. Okay. So what hits your account per paycheck?
On average, I'd say about 1,500. Depends on if I work
Is
overtime.
that every other week?
Every 2 weeks.
Or bi-weekly? 1,500.
Bi-weekly. Yes, sir.
You said if overtime?
If I
Oh,
work.
if overtime.
Well-
is that normal? 1,500 is the normal though.
It's about average. It's normal.
Good. Okay.
It was more consistent, but I actually recently took myself off the overtime list. I don't work overtime anymore.
Okay, so what is your account now? No
About
overtime.
1,500.
Okay, so it's
sometimes
15.
I'm
What
forced.
was
Sometimes
it?
I'm forced.
Why are you not doing overtime right now?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, man, get to it. Biloxi, shoot. I know it's hot, but shoot, get to them routes, man.
Hey, you know what? Now that you're saying that, hey, it is hot out there. He said, you know what? I ain't trying to be out there this heat. Hey, in Biloxi,
It is.
July the 12th. I'm looking for us. It's the 12th. I can see that, but hey, man, you got to grind. That's your profession, man. You got to get it, bro.
My people gonna say no, but they release this in October. I don't care. Y'all go there in October in some sweatpants and see how you feel.
Facts.
What was it?
About 18 to 19.
People want their mail. Why are you going down?
Well, my wife just left for the military, and I have a 4-year-old.
How old's your wife?
She's 27.
What does she do?
She just rejoined the military in the Army. She was
Doing
National
what?
Guard. She can't tell me. She has to go to training.
Oh, wow.
She just left for training.
Sure, she's not someone else.
Oh, yeah. I hope not.
Dang, you just went right to it.
A common thing.
She comes home in a good mood. I'll look the other way.
Why is she doing this?
My name is Christian.
Okay. So that's Mr. Christian. So let's get him off our screen real quick here. So just a little bit more to add to the story. Essentially, Christian, he is a 20-year-old mail carrier, as we heard from Biloxi, Mississippi. When he went on the Financial Audit podcast and admitted he drained roughly $8,000 to $10,000 from his 4-year-old son's savings account. The money mostly was built from birthday gifts and family contributions to pay
I was just
for.
about to ask, what's this 4-year-old doing? Like, what business he in? Shoot, he got 10 racks saved up before kindergarten. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool for his family.
Yeah. To pay for a string of trips, including he used the money for trips, including
Now
multiple visits to
man.
New York, Disney World, and the Bahamas. He called it an interest-free loan he plans to repay before his son is grown. Made the decision without his wife's approval, first mistake, and has since taken on more credit card debt on top of the family's roughly $90,000 in existing debt.
How much in existing debt? Wait a minute, hold on. How much?
90. He racked up more credit card debt on top of the family's roughly $90,000 in existing debt already.
So they're about to be close to about 6 figures of debt. Man.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Dang.
So when you initially hear this, what do you what were your initial thoughts? Especially being a married man now and all of that. He now working with his wife. He's like, you know what? he doing his own thing now. To be fair, she gone. She dipped off. But at the same time, they still married, so they got to work together, which is kind of weird that she dipped off on him. But hey,
Right.
You know what? He might be the reverse. You know how it's usually the other way, where it's usually the woman that's the support whenever the man
Yeah,
is
usually
serving.
the man deployed. I don't know if
Yeah,
the women
but so it's
deploy.
the other way around. So it's not like she might be doing a basic training or want to tech school.
She
or
can't
something.
tell him. She can't tell him.
But she can't tell. It's top secret. The person you decide to do life with is top secret. You can't tell.
That's funny. But man, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I'm married, but you know, I'm from Mississippi, so I wanted to kind of shoot him some bail and see. Well, you know, I wanted to know what the debt was for, but it hit different when you said, "Oh, he using it to go on trips and go to Disney World." Man, come on, man. You supposed to pocket half of that and go to Universal at least. Like, you know what I'm saying? You going to Disney World, you just throwing the money away, like you just burning it, like you just going crazy with it, like it's one thing if okay, I'm a mail carrier, but you know what? I got bigger ambitions in life, babe. We in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I love it. You know, we right by the beach, but I'm trying to take us around the country, around the world. I want to start a business or something, or I want to invest and maybe go increase my education. But you went to Disney World, and I'm not trying to judge. You know, you're giving your 4-year-old memories, but man, give them a foundation. Kids want a foundation. They don't. They want. You know, they just want you. They don't want all the money you want to throw at them.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Let me ask you this. What financial principle got violated beyond the obvious one from your perspective?
Would you say what principle should he follow besides like the super
Hmm.
obvious ones? I would say,
Which one that he violated?
oh, violate,
Hmm.
letting. I would say letting emotions guide your financial spending, and then also just not being aware of what's going on. Because I don't think nobody just wakes up and says, "Man, I think $100,000 worth of debt is my limit." You just it's creeping and creeping and not knowing where you really at because you really was at 40,000 at one point and 50 and 60. You don't just wake up and say, "Man, I gotta sneak 10K out my son's account." Like that's a crazy sentence. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think about it from. I mean, he essentially borrowed from his son zero interest to take trips because and he'll just pay it back because nobody will know. Um, for me, I'd say that the trips weren't the crime. Taking the decision away from his wife and his son at the same time was. So,
Mm.
so that's what I would say. That's my mind goes immediately. Well, goes there, and then if you need to borrow from your son with the whole purpose of you planning for your son, but then you borrowing the money, there's a disconnect there. I don't think this guy. He seemed like a nice guy. He doesn't seem like a monster or nothing crazy or just a terrible dude. But when it comes to finances, it's not even about you could be a good person and be horrible with your finances, and it puts you in a certain, and you'll end up having a certain outcome. I just think
Yeah.
I just think he's a guy who ran out of ways to fund a lifestyle and found a pot of money nobody was looking at. Um, and sometimes what it looks like is, and it called and I called it out. He is racking up more credit cards. So sometimes the hidden money is the credit card,
Mm.
but it's not free money. That money, the interest rates on that money is usually between 20 and 30%. So it's in that scenario, it's not a zero interest loan, and you're just gonna be racking up the debt. And you called it out after I gave you the overview of the story. Oh man, he's gonna be approaching over $100,000 in debt before you know it. And you're absolutely correct.
Man, it's real. I like how you took it beyond the numbers too. Like it's not just because I was thinking about this like a couple weeks ago or the other day. Just that there's like a special hurt because there's when a parent does something and you feel like you wouldn't have done that when they were if you were an adult. Like this person wouldn't just go in his best friend's savings account and take 10,000 out and say, I'm gonna pay you back though, bro. You wouldn't do that to another grown person. But you taking advantage of your kid. Like you say, you robbing them. You're not even asking. Your kid can't even sign a contract barely when you're 18, let alone 4.
Another this is just from my perspective, this is just another classic case of this is what happens when you operate from the blueprint of we'll figure it out later. and that becomes a financial plan. Have you ever seen yourself there? You know what? We'll just figure it out later. We just go ahead. We just go eat. We'll figure it out later. In this case, I'm gonna just get the money from the account, and I'll figure it out later. 0 interest loan. We'll figure it out later. So I have a question for the audience. Is borrowing from a child's saving account ever acceptable? Let me know in the chat. 0 interest. Put a 0 free interest loan in the chat if you think it's acceptable.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever had it done to you? You feel me?
Right.
Let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's move on to the next one, which this one's gonna be a doozy. This one's gonna be interesting. Let's move on to the next one. A financial coach told this couple their spending number was the worst he'd ever seen on camera. Then it got worse.
Dang.
Without further ado,
Don't want a big house, don't want a fancy car, just want the debt gone.
You took a $75,000 pay cut. You bought this house, but then you still decided to build a pool.
Yeah,
How much did the pool cost?
like 120,000.
whoa.
Dang. How deep is that's Olympic?
Bro, that you took it right out of my mouth. I'm like, man, it's somebody training for the Olympics.
That's crazy.
That's wow.
Not just a pool.
We ain't even got in yet, man. It's crazy. Let's continue.
Where does the money come from for all of these things?
Everything goes on a credit card.
Did you run math? Wow, it got extremely silent in here. What is this number?
179%.
Which I believe may be the highest fixed cost number I've ever seen.
Oh no.
You are drowning.
Yeah. I think in my head, if we don't buy a house again, we won't get into that situation.
But you will.
I just feel like we've failed.
The question that should consume you is how did we get here and what's going to stop us from getting right back in here? And I'm not hearing much of that. It is just a matter of time until you run out of money. The clock is ticking. What happens when you build your entire life around an income that suddenly disappears? Today I'm speaking with Melissa and Taryn. They're in their 40s. They live in.
So I think that's enough. We can.
You want to watch it and react to it? I already got some thoughts. Shoot, already.
Yeah. So I'll round out a little bit more of the story. So they're both clearly they're both 45. Melissa and Taryn, a married couple in their 40s, raised 5 kids in Los Angeles, which is interesting, to say the least. Because I only see 2 females on the screen. I don't know how that's possible with 5 kids. Okay. In Los Angeles.
That's a lot of kids. 5. Shoot. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't see no man nowhere, but we'll keep moving. Los Angeles sat down with Ramit Sethi holding a net worth over $700,000 on paper and fixed costs at 179% of their income. After Taryn took a $75,000 pay cut at Netflix. Good job, man. The 2 of them still built a roughly $200,000 pool, which we heard. Took on a $100,000 family loan to cover the overruns, which anytime you're doing something is always.
How much was this loan?
They built that pool ended up being $200,000. Because it said 120 if you remember on the screen, but then I guess they ended up taking on a $100,000 family loan to cover the overruns.
Wow.
And kept charging the rest to credit cards.
Man, you do all that and your kids be like, I don't want to swim. I don't like swimming. That's
Then
great.
Taryn was laid off entirely. You remember we be talking about that. That's
Dang.
what happened, bro. Ramit called their fixed cost numbers the highest he'd ever seen on the show. They're now 1.2 million in debt and listed their house for sale mid conversation. So essentially, on paper, net worth 700,000, but you owe 1.2 million in debt. Do the math, Ivy League scholar, on what their net worth is.
So they up. Well, they said the net worth was 700. They said it.
Yeah, their net worth is
they got
700,000, but they're in debt 1.2 million.
so they got about 1.9, roughly 2 million in assets. And people will be like, man, why don't they just switch it?
Their total net worth is 700,000.
Right. That includes the debt. You mean the assets. I see what you mean.
So
they really dead.
They're backwards.
So I see what you mean. So they got 700, but they
yeah, there you go. Now it's connected.
They're almost $500,000 net worth. That's ugly.
Negative.
That's discouraging. I would not want to be there.
Yeah.
I feel like the world's on top of you. I feel like the house you built and that pool is really on top of your shoulders.
So yeah, when you hear that, now when you think about that, now was that pool?
That's man. Cool. I want to see the pool. I want to see it.
Man, it's memberships you can get.
For real.
You can go to I can't even think of it right now. Well, it's not Equinox. It's one of them fancy gyms where you can, a part of the membership, you can go in summertime and when the season that is open, you can go and lay out at the pool. And it's a huge pool and it's almost like a social thing. And even if you don't have a membership at the club, Lifetime Fitness, there you go. You can pay for day passes to go there and hang out at the pool. I mean, it's really nice and it's real nice. Or if you know somebody, you can go to a pool party or something. But
go to a hotel.
Man, that's crazy.
For a day. Do something and you get to go home and not have to worry about the maintenance. What's the bill looking like? What's that water bill? Ooh.
Yeah. So and actually I'm thinking now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was off. They're not negative 500, so they just have $700,000 net worth, but they still have 1.2 million in debt. So basically
that's a lot of debt. Like that.
Yeah, so 1.2 million in debt. So it's 700K positive, but it's still 1.2 million in debt. And so essentially what that's telling me is debt is proof that the number people brag about isn't the number that protects you. Especially if a lot of it is like just bad debt, just bad debt.
Man, that's real. So
it's a lot of bad decisions.
Now, let me ask you, because you older, so you've had debt and you've seen people accumulate debt. You've seen what people use it to purchase, like cars and stuff. Because some of our viewers might be like, man, well, okay, so what? They got money. Why don't they just get rid of that debt, go cash it in or do whatever, and then just still they got their jobs, whatever, live life.
No.
Why is that not that easy?
One of them lost the job.
So you already got that. But let's say they had some money, like, or what is that debt on? What do you think that breaks down to? Then do they have to give up the pool? Do they got to not give up their card? What do they have to give up? Because I don't think it's just as easy as just paying off like the debt, like, man, because you could pay it off, or you could be like, come take whatever this thing is, right? Was that an option?
That is the option, and I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna cue it up for a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
But I feel like it's not ours because we owe it to other people. We owe it to credit cards.
3 months until you run out of money with 5 kids is no joke. What has changed, if anything, in your household as the clock has gotten closer to midnight?
We just listed our house.
Oh.
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, we got to get out of this. Like, we can't stay here. To your earlier question, like, when did we start to feel it? When we started building the pool, even when I had a job and we were getting by, we still were feeling it because we didn't have that extra money for savings, that extra money to go out, all that. It just felt like we were in over our heads with that house.
But this isn't, we don't have money for savings. This is, we are literally running out of money.
So this was the push we needed. I think me losing my job was like, okay, that like no brainer now. Like we were talking about it. Now it's like, we have to do it. Like we obviously can't afford this.
How to do it.
Continue going on. Investments are
I
zero.
mean, laugh at their situation, but I mean, I've been there, losing, not getting out of it,
Things
going
are
from having
zero.
a job to not having it. That'll make you think your strategy. You got to figure things out.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be saying, man, I don't believe in being debt free, or I don't believe in the all of that. I'd rather take all my money. I'd rather arbitrage, and I'd rather you can get more in the stock market. I'd rather take the debt out over here, and I'd rather invest in the stock market because I'm getting a higher return in the stock market because the interest is lower over on the debt until you lose a job and you don't have that income stream flowing. And that's if you was even being conservative. But then if you were being aggressive and you lose that job, you find yourself in this situation. But to answer your question, she answered your question. They realized, oh man, I lost a job. Because you were saying, well, can they start cutting? What can they start getting rid of? She spoke to it and they said, we got to get rid of this crib. Now, if you turn your attention to the screen, vacations, 0, gifts, 0, emergency fund, 0.
And then I've never seen this number before. Negative 79% is what's left over, or negative $9,300 a month. You broke my CSP.
He said they broke the all right, it's one more. All right, let's go here. I think it's just one more part.
Before the reorg, and she took the decrease. So we went into it like, cool, we can pay this mortgage, we'll be good. And then the reorg happened, the decrease in her salary happened.
See,
and that's when it started hitting us. Like when we got into the house, how much everything was really going to cost.
Had you bought the house before the reorg happened or after?
Didn't we sign off
We literally
The day of.
signed the papers
the day before? I
the
was laid off?
Monday confirming her salary, and Thursday she got laid off when it closed.
Wow.
So the
That's
timing was
crazy.
like, okay, maybe this all happened because like we're supposed to like build a pool and
And
do
we were
all
like,
this.
let's invest in her career. Like, since mine is like, we don't really kind of know what's happening. I'm getting
Wait.
paid less.
I think that's I thought that was a terrible strategy that they came up with. Once you lost your
Right.
job, you probably should have been out looking for another job.
Right. I would say this is a whole other video, like just market strategy as a job seeker. Like, yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I mean,
We
I know
just
it's
thought
stressful, but like,
we
what's
thought
up?
it was a good idea to just double down on your career. No, if y'all working together, you got what you got going. What you gonna do now? I mean, obviously it's not
Right.
as easy as jumping back out there, but you got to get back out there and figure it out.
Word. I want to so before we even, because we talking about like losing the job and like, okay, you even got fired or laid off or you quit, whatever. Even before that, so we was talking about like you was talking about having not having debt and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I could hear people being like, man, whatever, y'all scared, I'm gonna keep my money in the stock market. Y'all sound smart, but I got
I'm in the
smart
stock
guys over
market.
here. It's not like, and it's not even about that. It's fear based. And I know we talking about doing a book club and stuff, and we invite y'all to join, but like it's eventually. But one of the books that we're gonna probably talk about is like Psychology of Money, and it really helped me because I know guys, as guys, we understand sports psychology, the science of boxing, but why don't we try to embrace the science of money that we call money evil? But it just talked about how, long story short, not everything in money has to be a rational, like make sense to the 100% accurate degree. You got to
Yeah.
focus and account for what makes sense and like what make you feel good in real life, especially for moments like this. And so you can prepare and anticipate great things happening in your future, but still have a rock solid foundation.
Yeah, it's called peace. I've had people. That's one of the decisions. That's like one of the things that say, okay, if I go and do this thing, will it add peace to my life, or will it take away, or will it start to infringe upon that peace? And you really can't put a monetary value on peace if you're if you're only looking at the
That's
math.
real.
If you're only looking at the math and numbers, you're 100% correct. You're right. You're right.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to be debt free, to not leverage, but until the 2008 happened, or until a pandemic happened, where you see what they don't talk about is what happens when the musical chairs stop. For her, the musical chairs stopped whenever she lost her job, but the bills kept billing, as they say. And so these are the scenarios that people don't tell you. Obviously, you always plan for, you operate with expectation, but you also need to plan for it. If something happens, because life happens, am I in a position to weather the storm? Because it's gonna happen. The storm is gonna happen. And what the storm looked like in 2020 was the pandemic hit, pandemic, whatever. That hit. And if you own rental property, there are some states where people stopped paying, and the government supported
that.
To where people were just in your place, but
Feet
you still
up.
had a mortgage on it. Like you still had a mortgage on it. Like you still had a note on it, but that wasn't your primary. You're living over here. When people say, "Oh, well, the tenant gonna pay it down," it's all good. But depending on how many of those you had, you still got to cover that, because you didn't get a forbearance on your mortgage, like on your rental properties. So you probably still paying for your primary residence plus your rentals and plus whatever other stuff you have going on. And how long can you float and carry that? Which is going back to Ramit's point of, you're 3 months away from running out of money. So that's what that looks like. And could you imagine counting the time down of like, oh, I'm about to run out of money? I remember it was a burger place that we loved going to. It was one of our favorite places. That place was booming every time we went. So it wasn't a demand problem at all. The pandemic came, because they were booming. They expanded another building. But then you remember everything got locked down and all of that.
Right.
And guess what? Went out of business. And it was always packed out. It was people always there, but then expanded too quick and could have never accounted for a pandemic, right? So some things are just kind of like, I don't want to say dumb luck, but things happen. And so you have to always be planning for the thing that could happen. That don't mean you operate in fear, but you really have to be operate with expectation, but also plan for like the worst case scenario too. And that's what they call emergency fund. That's what that's called, and then just being somewhat mindful of the debt that you're taking on. And of course, the people that have rental property, there's no way they could have known that. But at the same time, guess what? I had a 4-unit building during the pandemic that I was getting renovated. And then when everything slowed down, luckily we made good money to where we can float things as we was renovating it, and all of that. But man, that was a crazy time. So not only this isn't theory, this is like direct experience where I'm like, oh, that's what Mr. Ramsey talking about. These type of scenarios come up. then it hit a little bit different. And it turns into like a real scenario versus someone's talking to you about a theoretical, because it's something about life experience plus what the math says. And so what the math is not telling you and what you don't have a mathematical formula for is over leveraging yourself in debt, but then also being able to measure what the peace part of it is. Like, are you gonna mess around and get yourself sick because you're in so much stress because of debt and being in financial stress? Like, it's not a good feeling. Everybody probably have their different stories, but it's, man, when that pressure of finances on you, man, like it's hard to think, it's hard to be creative. It's like it's tough. Everybody's threshold is different. Man, I don't wish that on nobody, man. Whew. Man, even if they deserved it because of the bad decision, I know it sucks. Like, it sucks.
That's real. And I think, now listen, part of the cure, I don't even want to say the cure, part of the syringe of how you get the cure in is making more money. So don't get, that's the delivery method. So always, you want to get a bigger syringe, stack more medicine, but the actual medicine, I think you said it earlier, is peace. And I think part of the peace is like just having a plan. Because you get to, I think it's common to where even people get to a point where they're up. Other people might be looking at them like, man, you got money. What you mean? Why are you still stressing? And people start getting scared to lose it and stuff like that. But
yeah,
when it's just have a plan, be knowing where you're going.
Let me ask you this. Going back to the pool, because some of this stuff be crazy self-inflicted, right? Like, we be doing some crazy stuff, and I'm not excluding myself. Like, I started at the beginning, hey, look, we're gonna go through these case studies, so to speak, right? We one of us could easily be in that chair of being the one that's being observed, and like, man, what was you thinking? Like, man, I was in the moment, man. I don't know.
I was talking.
Hey, I almost said something crazy.
Right.
Hey, we know that song where it say, my mind's telling me, but my body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Let me ask the room, what do you sympathize with them, and where does the sympathy run out for you? What about you? Answer that question.
My sympathy for them, man, I'm gonna say this. Life is hard, especially you get to that age, your 40s, and you said they got 5 kids. That's either maybe one who hopes, hopefully some of them grown by this point, but you got 5 kids, at least 2, 3, or 4 college funds to be worrying about. We just saw in the last case, one guy stealing money out of his kid's bank account. And so, I don't know, it's funny. We think that being competent and smart is going to save us from everything. We think that, okay, because we're good enough to make the money, then I think you mentioned this earlier, like having that attitude of we'll get to it later. We'll get to money management later. But I think we all are like just, a combination of different projects. Some are more developed in their projects than others, but money is just one example of a project. So they got the competence. Whoever the Netflix job, that's ill. But what is your competence in financial literacy, keeping money? You know what I'm saying? And so it's easy. That's one of them skills that's easy to hide when the competence is high and the money making skill is up. But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I
get covering up dumb. Like, you can cover up some dumb decisions because you have a big shovel, as they say.
For sure. But where I would say I'm sympathetic at is that, because it's easy to beat up on them and be like, man, why did you? I'm sympathetic to the fact that their musical chair stopped at a time when like that it really inconvenienced them and they had to learn a lesson the hard way. Some people get lucky to get to learn a lesson from other people, and you shared a lot of lessons with me. Sometimes they get to learn a lesson kind of on soft mode, training mode, like the video game, that first couple levels, like it's how you play, but like bump your head a little bit. They had to jump off the deep end, it seems like. And I don't want to say they had to,
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't know stuff until it's too late, dang near. But
Yeah.
just like I heard someone say, like, you know, just like in the courtroom, the ignorance of the law does not mean we about to excuse you and let you go about your way. You still gotta take your
Man.
time.
Man. Okay, so what financial principle got violated the moment they broke ground on the pool? The minute the ink got dry, I would say there's no way in heck. And then they showed the video, like they didn't have no savings, they didn't have no nothing real. So this is something interesting, you know, because we were talking about it earlier. I think I brought up net worth, and yeah, you know, yes, net worth is a good thing to chase, but at the end of the day, it's just another number. This could be an example of, okay, what does your net worth consist of, though? Are there any emergency funds in it, or is it just all pool and house? And you're gonna have to eventually come up off of that. I don't know if you probably know if you watch Boondocks when they had to come get Thugnificent out that house across the street, that little rapper. But that's just an example. That's a funny example, but do you what is like, so what are you building? Or are you just running and running, or are you planning your life out and like planning out the next year? Because it's not about being perfect, it's not about being real, but I say a financial principle is at least know where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Know where you're going. I don't think they knew where they was going when they signed for that pool. I think they're just saying, screw it, it feels good, we want to swim, who cares about next year? We'll figure it out later. That's what happens. In their case, it was a pool. In other cases, it's maybe you bought a Porsche, and it was the cost of the value of the Porsche was equivalent to what you earn a year. People do that. So hey, some people say, why would you buy a pool? That doesn't make any sense. That's expensive. But then in the same breath, you done purchased $100,000 vehicle and you make $100,000. It's like that number, that doesn't make sense. Let me ask you this: what system, a shared budget review, a spending cap, a second opinion, what would have caught this before it hit 179%?
Man, you say what system, or like what would have helped them catch this before it got this bad?
Yep.
I'm gonna start, you know, I could get real techie. Before I even get techie, I just would say, as a couple, like just relationship wise, period, just having check-ins. And you know, it's not just about, oh, we put a meeting on the calendar, because you can do it with or without the meetings, preferably with the meetings. But the spirit of it is, are both of y'all at least like interested and curious on what's going on with the relationship money wise, or it's just one of y'all having to handle it? Because this type of stuff that happens when just one of them says, I got it, I'll take care of it, I'm responsible with money. The person says, okay, great, I'm busy with these other domains of life, I'll let you handle it. And then the other person got all this stress and weight of managing a relationship. It's just, like I said, check in and do it as a couple, do it together. And then in terms of the technology and systems, that's easy. That's, you know what I'm saying, you can AI, whatever. But first, y'all got to be on the same page. You're on the same page first.
Yeah. If you're not, and that was going to lead to my last question. And I was going to say, in your own relationship or household, who's the controller and who's the bystander when it comes to money? It's usually one or the other, but you hit it right on the head. You know, working together, talking about it early, having a budget, you would have caught that much sooner. Would have caught
For sure.
Caught that much sooner. 179% of your income is insane. You're almost spending more. You're close to what you're earning. You're close to borrowing that on the debt side, which is always a losing recipe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's time to move on. Drop something in the chat. Hey, drop something in the chat if you find yourself spending more than what you make. Raise your hand and say me. Put me in the chat.
No shame. We all been there.
Hey, put me in the chat
or tag somebody. Say their name. Tag them.
Hey, call them out. But in love though. But no, seriously. Sure. And if you are that person that you put me in the chat, look, it's never too late to turn things around. So it's not even a judgment thing. It's just really awareness. So I'm telling you, put in the chat for awareness, and then from there, good job. You've made aware. Now it's time to start working towards a plan, because awareness is the first thing. Awareness is the first thing. So congratulations on that first step. But now it's time to actually get to a problem and dissect that thing and get consistent and get yourself out of that hole.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our last case study for today. We've now seen it at every income level. The number on the paycheck was never the problem.
Mm.
Let's get into it.
Chris Hogan joining me this hour, Ramsey personality.
Hey, this is a throwback one, just so you know. It's a throwback.
That's just my boy Chris.
Hey, where you at, Crib? Where you been at, bro? Hey, Crib, where you been at, bro? Dang, man. You know what happened, don't you? We ain't gonna get into it. We get into it.
We're gonna say that, but that's another video.
Brother man. The ladies got it.
Yeah.
Author of the #1 bestseller, Retire Inspired, and the new book that the pre-sales have begun on, Everyday Millionaires, How Ordinary People Build Extraordinary Wealth, and how you can too. We're answering your questions at 888-825-5225. Frank's in New York City. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
I just have a two-part question. One is about a car lease debt ending. Another is about my overall process of trying to get debt-free. I think I had partly an income problem because I was partly living off of credit cards, using them to make ends meet. So when I was trying to pay off debt, I had to account for that. And so I started working a little extra, and I'm making a few $100s extra every 2 weeks. But still, I wasn't people about 10 months, and still, it's just going very slow for me. And
what is your income? And then how much is you got extra income of about $400 a month? What's your main income?
So my income is about $220,000 a year.
That's a great income. However, he in New York.
Gotta factor that in. Yeah.
That $200,000 is helpful.
It's good food out in New York too.
Man, we gonna look up some houses in New York after this. I done got them.
Okay. That does not equate to moving slow on that with me. How much debt you got, dude?
I have $166,000, and then I think you include. I have a second on my house. I think you include that.
$166,000 on what?
Too. I have student loans of $96,000.
Mm-hmm.
I have credit cards of $56,000.
Mm-hmm.
I have some personal loans of $14,000.
Okay. And you keep saying are you single?
No, my wife and I.
First mistake.
Whoa.
Remember what he's talking about? Clearly, he's the one doing it by himself. And no fault to the other person, because he's saying I. We would have thought he was a single man. And when you get married, hey, we French, baby. We. Like, it ain't no we
right.
in us. Our. What they call that, plural, right? Plural.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
he's saying I. He's saying a lot of I. I always get nervous whenever it's married folks and they saying a whole lot of I when it's big decision that's happening in their household. I'm like, ooh, yeah, y'all talking like, I. It's like, all right, continue.
Okay. And your household income is $200,000 plus.
Yeah, it's about 220.
Okay. All right. So here's what's running through everyone that's listening's mind. Where is all this money going?
That's a fact.
I just have so many payments. I have like 20 5 or more credit cards, and then, a loan for a HVAC system, all these loans. So whatever.
Let's play pretend for a second.
Going out.
I'm going to stop a second. Let's play pretend for a second, not payments. Let's just say that you lived on $150,000 that would cover your lifestyle, your food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities, which is an awful lot to do that. So I'm being absurd. It should be less than that, even in New York City. Yes, I know what New York City costs. I'm there.
Basically, NYC.
What'd you say?
All the time. But let's just say that it took you 150. Then that would leave you 50 to throw at debt, and not counting interest in 4 years, you would be debt free. So something's wrong in your budget. You guys are spending like you're in Congress.
Yeah, we are spending, things do come up. For example, last week we hadn't planned to put my youngest boy in football, and then we decided to put him in football.
So I got a question for you. I have a question. I have a question for you just to get your perspective. I have a stronger perspective, but it's not me. So is kids sports optional, or is it like mandatory? Because it seemed like that's like the thing. Even us growing up, we were in sports at some point, but in my head, I'm like, I'd rather been in like science classes or math classes or chess clubs or stuff like that. Why do parents have this allegiance to sports so much? And they say, oh, well, it's just teaching them to be able to interact and socialize better. It's like, I could do that playing chess. I can do that playing something else. Why do they have to be football, basketball, baseball? And there's no knock on those things. If you genetically gifted, but sometimes it just seems like it's a reach and it's a stretch, and you are already stretched thin. Where do you draw the line and say, you know what? I ain't running all over town doing all that stuff. I'm doing one or two things. That's it. We're not doing all that stuff. What is your thoughts on that? Wait, before you go, especially if I know that they were, money was tight. Like if I had some input as a kid, I'm like, I don't have to play that. Like I can find something else creative to do. Like you don't have to invest in that for me. And I don't think less of you as a parent.
No, that's real, man. That's such a good question. And I don't know. I think I'm a little bit privileged or lucky. Like I grew up. I mean, you probably can relate. I grew up when we still was like able to. Yeah, I played pee wee football when I was younger, but I didn't play like organized sports in high school and middle school. Now I did play on the tennis team senior year, but no disrespect to the team. Don't make it like I forgot them. But I didn't really play sports like organized. But I grew up in especially like middle school. Man, we was going outside, and this is like, I mean, we had phones, but they'd come knock on your door. Like, man, you can play basketball today, or just come outside. Period. We was just hanging out, and so we were playing football, basketball, and so my point is, I think as a parent, I'm not going to say, because it's funny. I heard Charles Barkley telling a story about his daughter. He said, man, she was like, man, she was so tall. Like if she wanted to play basketball, she had all the physical assets for it, but it broke his heart because he didn't force her to play, but he encouraged her. But he ultimately, like he did something cool. He kept it real. He said, babe, do you really want to play basketball? She said, Dad, I hate sports. He said he had to hold that tear and be like, okay, babe, I get it. Let's go. Let's go get some ice cream. But he started crying. And so I was like, man, that's how I feel. I'm going to expose my kids to sports because I think that physical activity is important. I want them to be physical. They ain't got to play the sports that I like. They don't have to go hoop or play football. Maybe they like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Maybe they like golf. I don't know. But I'm going to go get them involved in something and exposed to something. And to your point, though, it's not going to be in replacement, though. It's going to be in combination with like mental stuff, like stuff that stimulates their mind, too.
I guess what I was getting at is it's usually only so much time in a day, right? It's only so much time in a day.
Yeah.
And it's only I'm not gonna say it's only so much money, but let's just say you have a budget for your household, and I've seen sometimes the budget really get stretched, and it was like, I actually you ain't really have to stretch it for me like that, you know.
Right. It's
Type
Bama
of thing.
football.
Yeah. All right, we can continue. I was just curious.
A couple $100. You know,
That
things
is
are
not
coming
your
up.
problem.
Tell me a $200 football.
$200 isn't your problem, man. It's $5,000 a month is your problem.
Yeah.
You're spending $5,000 a month on stupid stuff. That's $60,000 a year. Chris, what are you seeing here?
That's a salary.
Frank, are you all still using the credit cards?
Mm-hmm.
You already know it, but somebody get them.
Your wife that's using them.
And me.
Okay, so you are the spender.
Well, I'm not. I'm using it for like things.
No, you have to acknowledge it. You say, Frank, you're the spender. And so what you have to do is really have this mind shift. You're working way, way too hard for all these debts. That's why you're not feeling any progress. And so what has to happen, Dave hit on it. You got to look at your budget and you got to get mad. See, right now you're just
Oh, that's real.
Yeah, he
That's
basically they get nickel and dime. I'm about to get up off of this. I think we've heard what we need to hear. My man and I fill in some of the rest of it now that we've heard a little bit of it. So essentially, a household bringing in over 200,000 a year calls into the Ramsey Show, unable to make a dent in the debt, and it's becoming a reoccurring genre across every major show. Six-figure income that should mean security instead, producing the exact same panic as a household earning a third of that. The number changes, the shape of the story doesn't. Income, everyone assumes is enough. Spend it in ways that never get reviewed together. We talked about it earlier, until the math stops working quietly and starts failing loudly.
Can I say something about the income real quick?
Yeah.
I'm and this is I'm gonna say this to my fellow Gen Z people, especially like I said, if you high earning, or if your income is rising and you're looking to earn even more, you're looking to just get it going. We all looking to do, increase our money. I know it's easy to look at the story and be like, man, they making 200,000. How is that happening? That should not be the case. They should be able to just throw money at this. And so I want to say it's that exact thinking that got them in the situation too. It's them thinking like, man, I make 200,000. It's no way I should even have debt, let alone if I do got a little bit of debt, man, it's no problem. I'll worry about that later. I'll pay it off.
I want you to get mad
That's just
at
half
it.
of one paycheck. And so my point is, this is a good example. This is the thing we've been talking about the whole episode. Don't just wait until later. Don't just think, okay, I'm gonna wait until I'm making 200,000 and then I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna approach these things, how I'm gonna approach debt and things like that. Figure it out while you're making 20,000, 40,000, 50, 60. You don't have to wait until you're in the big leagues money wise to have a plan. In fact, that's gonna be part of what probably keeps you from getting there.
Yeah, let me ask you this. What would you do differently at 200,000 that this household didn't?
That's deep. Because I'm saying I think it started way before 200. Well, I don't know how long ago they started making 200, but it didn't. I don't know. I'm approaching it from a perspective of like they just started making 200.
Nah, I would, if I had to guess, he'd probably been making that.
Yeah, he probably his 40s.
Yeah.
So this
I mean,
is the
he in
thing.
his
Money's
career,
not
he doing his thing. He making good money. That's good money.
right. So this is a good example, y'all. This isn't someone who just got into like I just started making it last year. So this isn't. He probably even more is thinking, man. He probably got some shame and some guilt. Like, bro, I've been making 200 for like 5 years, 10 years. Why haven't I solved this yet? Because what I'm learning more and more is that, especially as we're adults and we're men, like the problems that are worth solving aren't going to solve themselves as much as we want them to, as much as we want to, want them to. So this is one of the problems, and it's not a problem. You don't look at it as a problem. That's why it keeps getting scooted away. Who wants to deal with a problem? Your finances are not a problem. They're a system to run.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think that's a good place to end. in the chat, if you making good money and you still like where it went, I want you to cut it in the chat, meaning cut that spending, cut that spending, and cut that credit card. No, don't cut your credit card. That's not what you don't want to do. There is a world where you can pay it off every year. I mean, every month. It's just that most people don't, and that's how you end up in credit card debt. And the credit card companies know that. And also, by the way, you end up spending more anyway, even if you are disciplined with paying it off every month, and they know that too. So as long as you're good with just knowing you're gonna spend more, do what you do. But hey, this wraps up. This wraps up the segment. This wraps up this segment. Any final closing words? But actually, before we get there, there's 3 principles that I want for takeaways that I want to share with the viewers. One, ownership over access. Having control of money is the same as having the right to spend it. Case 1 was an access problem dressed up as a loan. 2, systems over income, which you spoke about. No income level protects you from a household that never reviews its own numbers together. That's the, hey, let's just figure it out mindset. That was case 2 and case 3. Prove it at 2 very different incomes. 3, transparency over comfort. Every case tonight had a moment where the truth was unavoidable for a little longer, but every case got worse in that gap. Last, and this is what I'll leave with the viewers in a form of a question. Of the 3 families tonight, whose situation hit closest to something in your life? And what are you going to do about it this week? Hey, if you've got money situations you want the case desk to break down, yours, family members, friends with their permission, the links in the description. We keep names off unless you want them on. Hey, until the next one, we out. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.